Hey, what's up guys? I feel like coming at you with another awesome Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile, and today's profile is going to be an update on the most popular video on the channel to date, which has been my Harpie Lady profile. I have a small disclaimer, of course. I will be using some OCG copies of some of the cards in the deck, just because I prefer the OCG uncensored artwork for the Harpies rather than the censored TCG artwork. It is still built to a TCG ban list, so unfortunately we cannot be playing Harpie's Feather Duster in the deck. If you haven't already, guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button so you're updated whenever I release new content. Now that that's out of the way, guys, let's get into the profile. Starting off with our 3 Elegant Egotist targets, we have 2 copies of Harpie Lady 1 and 1 copy of Cyber Harpie. Harpie Lady 1 increases the attack of all your wind monsters by 300, as well as being Harpie Lady on the field and the graveyard and in your deck, and 1 copy of Cyber Harpie just for a beat stick. Her effect is she counts as Harpie Lady at all times. Now, of course, you can play 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1 if you really want that extra 300 attack bonus. But because I'm playing the meme Phalanx Pike still in my deck, I still think that Cyber Harpie is really good to play at 1. Moving on, guys. 3 copies of Harpie Channeler. As a hard once per turn, you can ditch any Harpie card you want from your hand, special summon any Harpie monster you want from your deck in defense, other than herself, of course. And then if you control a dragon, she becomes a level 7, so obviously it gives you rank 7 plays. So if you bring out Dragon, you can use her to go into cards like Big Eye, Tomahawk, or Dracosack as well. Really, really cool rank 7s that you can utilize to make powerful links if you want, or you can just steal your opponent's monsters with Big Eye. And there's a really cool broken combo with with the hand trap, which I'll talk about when we get to the hand trap, which is really, really troll and meme. 3 copies of Harpie Harpist. So when she's normal summoned, you can target another monster you control, bounce it back to your hand, and then bounce one of your opponent's monsters back to your hand as well. Really, really powerful. Then, of course, in the end phase, if she's in the graveyard because she was sent there this turn, you can search your deck for a level 4 lower Windwing Beast with 1500 less attack. So basically, any monster in the deck except for Dragon, herself, Queen, and Cyber Harpie. And then, of course, like all Harpie monsters in the deck, all Harpie Ladies in the deck, she counts as Harpie Lady on field and in graveyard, which makes her very, very powerful. Next up, 2 copies of Harpie Dancer. Harpie Dancer is a very iffy card. She's very powerful if you use her correctly. That's why I only run her at 2. So once per turn, you can target a wind monster you control, bounce it back to your hand, and then summon out another one. Main reason I combo off with her, you can combo off with Harpist really well, so you can summon her, bounce Harpist back, normal Harpist, use Harpist effect, bounce Dancer, because Dancer's quite weak, to bounce one of your opponent's monsters, and then blow up a bunch of spell traps with your field spell at the same time, because they're all individual summons. Main reason I use her is I cheat her out with Channeler, and then I bounce her back to my hand to summon the Barrier Statue, which is really, really powerful. And of course, Dancer's effect is a hard once per turn. Next up, guys, 3 copies of Harpie Queen. Harpie Queen can be ditched to search your field spell. If you don't really need your field spell in this duel, she's also a 1900 beat stick, of course, that counts as Harpie Lady on field and in graveyard, which is why I'm really glad that we don't have to run Terraforming in this deck, because if you don't really need your field spell, Terraforming becomes a brick jaw, which is why she's really, really powerful for this deck. She's also a great Phalanx Pike target because she has 1900 attack base, and she's going to get a massive 900 for every Harpie engraved. Really, really powerful. 1 copy of Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds because it is searchable and it gets power from our field spell, our Harpie Lady 1 and our Greatfly, and of course locks us both players out from special summoning anything that's not a wind monster. So very, very powerful and very, very hard to beat over if you get the right setup. Our last monster, of course, is Harpie's Pet Dragon. Gains 300 attack and defense for every Harpie Lady you control on the field. We just use him as level 7, rank 7 fodder. Can bring him out with Channeler. He does brick if you draw him, but you can just ditch him for Channeler and then bring back later with Monster Reborn if you really want to. Moving on to our spells, guys, we have 1 copy of Elegant Egotist. So if we control Harpie Lady, special summon Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters from our hand or deck. For us, our only targets for this to summon are Harpie Lady 1 and Cyber Harpie, but that's perfectly fine. That's why I only run it at 1, because it is searchable through Hysteric Sign. So you can search it or salvage it with Hysteric Sign when it's activated, and then if Sign is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can search up to 3 Harpie cards with different names in the end phase. Very, very powerful. However, you can only use 1 effective Sign per turn and only once per turn. But its destruction effect is really good. It helps to get rid of the negative side of your field spell. As well as that, we do have a few extra deck monsters that can help us blow them up as well. It's also a really good bait for the opponent if you just set it and they blow it up because it'll activate anyway. And then, of course, it's a great Magical Hats target. Next up, guys, 3 copies of their field spell, Harpie's Hunting Ground. You just play 3 for consistency, and also because it's a Harpie card, so it's an extra target to ditch for Channeler, which is why Channeler is such a powerful card, because you just discard Harpie card, not Harpie monster. All Wing Beast type monsters gain 200 attack and defense, and then when Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters is normal or special summoned to the field, whoever conducted the summon is forced to target a spell trap on the field and destroy it. It is a mandatory destruction, and it's also not once per turn. So this card can become very powerful or very bad for you depending on the situation you're in, but you don't need it to win the duel, which is one of the reasons why it is such a powerful field spell for this deck. Moving on to the rest of our spells, guys, we have our Draw Power, which is, of course, Upstart and 1 Day of Peace. We have Foolish Burial, just to mill our Harpist. I didn't tech in Swallow's Nest as you guys suggested, because it does still brick quite a bit, and I don't really like, it's not a great one-off. It can be troll to bring out the Barrier Statue, so by all means run it. I just feel it doesn't really work too consistently in my deck compared to what I'm currently playing. So we've got Monster Reborn at 1, pretty straightforward. Bring back Dragon or bring back one of our opponent's monsters. And of course, Phalanx Pike, the troll card. Increase the attack, the equipped monster by 900 for every monster in the grave that shares the same name. And as we've been over, every female monster in our deck counts as Harpie Lady on the field and in the graveyard. So very, very powerful. Moving on to the traps, guys. 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm, because why the hell not? It's incredibly broken card. If you control a Harpie monster, you can activate it from your hand. If you control a winged beast type monster, negate any activated monster effects your opponent would activate for the rest of this turn. If it's destroyed by your opponent in your spell and trap, you get free Harpie's Feather Duster, but of course we can't do that in the TCG, but being able to drop this from our hand makes this card incredibly powerful. So the combo you can do is basically you can use this to guarantee Big Eyes with monsters like your Cyber Dragon Infinity, opponent's Cyber Dragon Infinities, and Crystal Wings, which is really, really powerful. Obviously, Crystal Wing can, Cyber Dragon Infinity can negate these, so if you bait it first, you get a free Infinity, but it's really easy to steal a Crystal Wing with this card, which is pretty troll. Next up, guys, 2 copies of Hysteric Party. Discard 1 card, special summon as many Harpie Lady monsters from your graveyard as possible. So you can summon, basically, you get like potentially up to 5 Harpies. Very, very powerful. If this leaves the field, they're all destroyed. But you just use them for overlay and link fodder, which is really, really cool. Or just to, you know, OTK and beat the shit out of the opponent. 2 copies of Icarus Attack, tribute a Winged Beast to target 2 cards on the field, destroy it. Very powerful. If you open up with this and the Harpist, you can really like threaten your opponent, because you'll blow up 2 of their cards and you'll also get to search. Our last 2 one-off spell traps are Magical Hats and Storming. You can run Storming at 2 if you really want to. I find it's fine at 1 because you have enough ways to deal with the opponent in this deck. And then Magical Hats, of course, because it's Troll, and it also gets the distraction effect of your Hysteric Sign so much faster and adds you, it's such a crazy plus. As well as that, of course, your secondary spell trap can probably be your field spell, because you're really not going to need 3 in the duel. And then, of course, finally, guys, 2 copies of Strike, 1 copy of Warning. You don't need to play Judgment, I find, because you have your Featherstorm, which can hit basically all your opponent's activate monster effects, so we just play the Strikes and the Warnings to hit the summons. Moving on to the extra deck, guys. First off, we have 2 copies of Greatfly. So Greatfly is any 2 wind monsters, gives all wind monsters 500 attack and defense, and lowers all earth monsters by 400. As well as that, if it's destroyed by battle and or card effect and sent to the grave, you get a free wind monster. Really, really good, because we can just use this for our bricked wind XYZs like Castel, Chidori, and Tornado Dragon if they run out of overlay units. So very, very cool there. Unfortunately, he's not a winged beast, because the original card he's based on was not a winged beast, but it'd be cool if he was. Next up, guys, we have Fighting Fire Duramadol at 1. He is 2 Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast type monsters. He's a Link 2, so you can make him with two Harpies, basically, or Harpie and a Ice Beast. This is a good way to get rid of your bricked Ice Beast. So basically, he gains 100 attack and defense, 100 attack, sorry, for every Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster on the field. Once per turn, you can target a spell and trap on both players' fields, destroy them. So another easy way to get rid of your Hysteric Sign if you really need to. And then, of course, when he destroys the opponent's monster by battle, you can target one of your banished Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast type monsters, or one that's in your graveyard, and add it back to your hand. So very good tech at 1 for this deck. Moving on to the XYZs, guys. 2 copies of Ice Beast. Again, I still think 2 copies of Ice Beast is really good, because she's insanely powerful. So detach an XYZ to negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent controls. It's a mass negate. It doesn't target. That's why this card is so powerful. She also gains 300 attack for every other face-up card you have when you on the field when you use this effect, and this all stays until your next standby phase, so very, very powerful. So if your opponent does deal with her in their turn, the effects of their cards are still negated until your standby phase, which is very, very powerful. One copy of Lightning Chidori. Again, Chidori is only really good at 1 now because it's kind of slow. It's when it's XYZ summoned, you can target a set spell trap your opponent controls, and set card your opponent controls, put it on the bottom of the deck, and then detach one, target a face-up card, put it on the top of the deck. I think Ice Beast is better at 2 just because she does so much more now. Next up, guys, one copy of Tornado Dragon. Obviously, this guy is insane in this deck. This is probably your main opening play. If you're able to summon 2 Harpies and have a sign on the field, you'll make this dude, you'll threaten to blow up your opponent's key spell or traps, and if they don't set any, you'll just blow up your sign, detaching your Harpist, and then you'll get a +4, which is insanely powerful. He's also a win, so you can use him to go in the Great Flight if he bricks. One copy of Harpie's pet, Phantasmal Dragon, because Phantasmal Dragon is the Harpie extra deck monster, and he's freaking awesome. He's 3-winged monsters, 3 level 4 wins, but all his effects are continuous, meaning they're not activated, so that he's a bit harder to deal with. So first off, his first effect is if he controls an XYZ material, he can attack your opponent's life points directly, and as long as he controls an overlay material, your opponent cannot target any of your Harpie monsters with effects or attacks. So very, very powerful as well. Of course, he is forced to detach a mandatory detach of an XYZ material in each of your end phases, but he's still very, very powerful if you can get him out, and he's definitely worth running at 1. Next up, guys, Babushka. Obviously, if you can't make your Tornado Dragon and your sign as your opening play, you'll just make Babushka and stall for a bit, pretty straightforward. And of course, you can always switch into attack and then use your effects. He does brick if he does run out of overlay units, of course, but he'll blow himself up, so you don't have to worry about him too much. Obviously, Castel, because he's a wing beast, so he's a target for your Icarus attack, as is Ice Beast, as well as being a target for your Great Fly in this sense, and he also gets power from your field spell, your Great Fly, and your Harpie Lady 1, which makes him really good, and then detach 2 to shuffle a card on your opponent's field back to their deck. Then, of course, the Utopia package, still running this because it is still really good in this deck. If you happen to use 2 Harpists to make this, that's why I use Prime, you can always attach 1 Utopia and a Harpist, you get your search, and then next turn when you do it again, you'll get your search so you don't waste your 2 Harpists. Big Eye, which is really cool because of the combos, the meme combos you pull off with Featherstorm, and I steal too many Crystal Wings with this combo, and it's pretty troll. You make him with your Dragon and your Channeler, pretty straightforward. Of course, you can run other rank 7s if you really want to, like Tomahawk and Draco Sack, just to make tokens to go into the big Link monsters, but that's completely up to you. And the last extra space is up to you guys. At the moment, I'm playing on the Arc. He may change out for some other cards. I mean, you can run Ragnar Zero as well, that was suggested. I mean, you can, you just don't have space. If you really want to, you can run something like a Skull Dread or a Bowl Reload, which you can just make with Party, which is insanely broken. But in the end, it's up to you. I mean, Silent on the Arc just steals one of your opponent's special summon monsters. Does target, so it can get a bit iffy, but I mean, you can swap them out for a powerful Link if you really, really want to. But anyway, guys, that is it for my updated profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Again, hit the bell button so you're updated. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you for my next video.